People call me Soviet Space Dog, which is great because I've asked them to. So, thank you. If you are watching this video, that means that my new album, Do You Often Find Yourself Under Psychic Assault, is out. You can listen to it. Right now, even. So if you were already excited for that, then you can go, just check it out, go listen to it. Let me know what you think. I'd love to hear from you. If you are still here, then I assume maybe you don't have the time to listen to a whole record right now, which I understand. It's a 55-minute album. That's quite a time commitment. So here's the whole thing in 3 seconds. Now, I don't think that's the optimal way to listen to this album, but I want to meet you halfway. My first album was called A Shotgun State of Sunshine, and that phrase, that image had kind of two connotations for me. And the first was meant to evoke the image of a beam of light coming down from a UFO to suck you up and take you away. Which was kind of a core image of one of the main songs on that album. But the other connotation of that phrase for me was that it described my my moods and my mental state at that time in my life. The moments where I felt good, where I felt happy, often came out of nowhere and in very short bursts, like shotgun blasts, that I didn't really have much control over. Hence, Shotgun State of Sunshine. After I finished that album, the shotgun blasts kept getting shorter and shorter, and I got to a pretty not great time in my life. I don't know why I was afraid to just use the word bad right there, or maybe terrible, or other synonyms, but it was a pretty bad time in my life. The shotgun blasts got so small and so far apart that it got to a point where I felt like my life either needed to drastically change, or it needed to drastically stop happening. And I flirted with the latter for a bit too long before I finally decided on trying the former first. And so I did. I changed. I made some really big changes in my life. I had a really steady career, and I quit, and I moved away from where I lived to a brand new city. I shook up a lot of my relationships, some of which still have not recovered from that period. And I moved to a new city, and I spent about a year in this kind of isolatory period where I saw very few other people, and I spent a lot of my time alone in my home, kind of interrogating my thoughts and feelings and this depression that was taking hold of me, and doing lots of psychedelic drugs and writing down every thought and feeling I had into this black journal of mine. By the end of this period, I started feeling a little bit better, or at least like I understood a bit more about the way my mind works, the way that it attacks itself. And after I had forged a bit of stability for myself, I took all the things that I had unloaded onto these pages, and I started writing an album about it. And that is the album that came out today. It is called Do You Often Find Yourself Under Psychic Assault? And I called it that because I often did, and sometimes do, not as much. But I took all these thoughts and all these experiences and all these difficulties I was having, and I processed them the only way that I've known how to do my whole life, which is to put them down into lyrics and make music out of them. I have a song called Entropy Baby, which is about trying to grab hold of fleeting moments, the way that we can remember, certain periods of our life in such broad detail, but all of the individual moments that made up that section of our life kind of blur together and we lose them. I find that really terrifying. I've talked about time a lot on previous albums. I have a song called Deadly Premonition, which is about my cat who was... I have a song called Deadly Premonition, which is about my cat who was with me through this whole period, and just a few months ago, he got very sick, and I had to let him go. I have a song called Gimme Money, which is the first time I've ever rapped, and it is about a bad mushroom trip that I had where I imagined the government was out to get me. I have a song called Making Yourself Feel So Small, which I sometimes feel embarrassed for having written and to be releasing publicly, just for how bare I let myself be in that song. But it is also some of the greatest catharsis I've ever felt in writing something, so that has to be worth something. Anyway, if you sat through all that, I really appreciate you listening, and hopefully if you would listen to me speak for a few minutes, maybe you'll find an hour somewhere that you can listen to me a little bit more on the album. It's called Do You Often Find Yourself Under Psychic Assault? I often have difficulty trying to identify who my audience is. Who am I making music for? Because, it's me. I write this to and for me, and I can't really build an audience off of myself. But I do know that I'm not alone in the way that I feel, and in the way that my brain works, and in the way that my psyche attacks itself. And so if you do or have ever found yourself under psychic assault, I hope that listening to this album you can find some part of yourself in it, or you can find some of your own catharsis in these songs. Anyway, Do You Often Find Yourself Under Psychic Assault? It's an album. It exists. It's out there. You can listen to it in all the places where you listen to other music.